Well, my friends, my dear viewers, it has been 2 very long, very good, overall fantastic years for me. But I'm afraid that, well, all things must eventually come to an end, and I myself am moving on to bigger, better, greener pastures, which I won't talk about now because that's a subject for another time. If you're interested in more details, I'll give at least a little bit of a descriptor down below. But the long story short is that I am moving, and as such, this wonderful, lovely, kind of sort of ad hoc, but it's an alright, I think it's a pretty good set piece, is now, well, it's reached its end. It will no longer be being used. And so, I've had a number of people ask about this in the past before. Personally, I'm not entirely sure if I get the appeal, but all the same, I thought I may as well, you know, given the occasion, record myself offering you a little bit of what I've been told can be referred to as a shelfie. I absolutely hate that term and everything it represents, but I suppose it is a selfie of one's shelf. So come along with me and we shall see a wonderful world of my knickknacks and whatnot. Starting, of course, on the very top shelf, we have the most iconic, the most dynamic gentleman. We have Lord Kitchener himself. This is a bust of the gentleman, which I ironically received at the Wellington Arch in London. They were selling it in their gift shop, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to have it, of course. We have a magnificent, wonderful profile there of the man himself, every inch the most stereotypical, you know, representation of Victorian masculinity with his great big mustache. And then, of course, on the bottom we have, alongside, let me see if I can get it to focus. The focus is going to be the bane of me in this video, I'll say that already. We have a wonderful portrayal of a bunch of Tommies with a tank there, and with some barbed wire, with an artillery gun, all those sorts of things. And on the bottom, of course, it says, oh, come on, focus. It says, Lord Kitchener, your country needs you. And that is, it's quite a good motto to be able to have as a man stares angrily at you at your desk to get more work done every day. In the corner there, just a couple of shells that, when I saw it, normally this is not the kind of shell that I reference on this channel, but these were gifts from, you know, however long ago from my baby sister, and I thought to myself, well, I don't want to just throw them away because she, you know, she gave them to me out of her heart, but I don't really have a need for shells. Aha! Well, I'll put them on the shelf. Why not? And then, as well, you'll note this little guy right here. This is the bottom. Oh, let me see if I can set it up. There we go. That is the bottom of a brass cartridge from a .303 round, short magazine Lee Enfield ammunition. If you remember right from the first video where I actually fired that rifle and talked about the experience, I think the second round that I fired, basically it was a cheaply made round that broke inside the gun. And I decided to keep the base of the thing as a nice little memory of the occasion. And there's that horrible focus again, but you can deal with that much. Here, of course, we have a little Victorian-style toy soldier, foreign service uniform there with the beautiful white helmet. This was a gift by a generous viewer who I believe met me at an event. I believe it was at a reenactment. Yeah, and he gave this to me as like a little thank you for making content, and that was very swell of him. So I decided to include it in the set piece. It's a very nice little guy, just sort of standing sentry next to Lord Kitchener there. The scale's a little bit off. In the back, of course, you'll note all of my Horatio Hornblower books, notably with one missing. That is Beats to Quarters is currently not on the shelf because I'm lending it out to a friend of mine. Of course, I'm doing my due duty to make sure that I can get as many people interested in that series as possible. Actually, I think that part of that duty would be making a video about the series. But in any case, it's a fantastic series. Go and read it if you haven't already, and then watch the show, because the show is also fantastic. This is a postcard of, you can see here, I believe King George standing over and observing sort of a grave of a fallen soldier during the First World War. This was actually given to me, this postcard, you can see there, at my first ever World War I event in Newville. They gave these out to like all the regiment that I was with, the group I was with, the Borders Regiment, give little bits of mail to all the people who were at the event with them, and it's a very nice little touch. It's a nice little like, hey, thanks for coming out to the event, and makes you feel a little bit more like in the old time, as it were. very top there, you can see the scabbard of my 1907 pattern bayonet. It is actually an original bayonet. I use the actual original bayonet right now is actually in the webbing in my reproduction, like webbing for the World War I kit. I use the real bayonet whenever I'm going to an event that's like a display event or a smaller one, like smaller battle. Whenever I'm going to one of the more intensive events, like the Newville site, which if you've been there, you know is like a lot more gritty and down into the mud, shall we say. Whenever I'm going one of those sorts of events, I always use the reproduction bayonet because I don't want to get the original one damaged. But this is just the scabbard of the original. I don't use the original scabbard because it's a little bit more delicate, I figured. Some more books, most of which I've never read. All of the toy soldiers you can see here that I've never actually painted. At least I never actually finished painting, but we got a little bit of them done and they make like a nice little set piece. Maybe one day, oh. Otherwise, you can see in the back here, we have a Dorset badge. This is the World War I regiment that I now represent. This was given to me by our unit commander, Steve. He went to a place called The Keep, which is the museum that is dedicated to this regiment. And on the other side here, of course, we have the 3 feathers of the Prince of Wales, in fact, made in Wales, you can see. This is a little like a lapel pin from my time in the 23rd Royal Welsh Fusiliers in America, the first reenactment group that I ever joined. Otherwise, you'll see a lot of poppies. This is just like one of many different forms of poppy that I have across my desk. I'll talk a little bit about the poppies as we get to the larger collection down below. Being in time, Heidegger, smart man, bit of a Nazi, not the brightest in every way, but philosophy-wise, very smart man. And dear Lord, that book is a slog to get through. War is a force that gives us meaning, though, much easier to get through, and wow, it's a very, very good book. It's informed a lot of how I feel about military conflict and all that. Very good book, very good book. Don't take it entirely, a little bit of grain of salt, but it's a good book. This right there, Britons, your country needs you. It's like a little Imperial War Museum commemorative, like, oh no, It's like a commemorative, I don't know what you describe it as, given to me by a friend from the UK. And then as well, actually, here we are. We do have, I almost missed why, I think it fell down, a commemorative coin from the same source, from the Imperial War Museum, showing there you can see a soldier over a grave, Flanders Field in the background, and then of course Her Majesty the Queen on the front. It's not an actual like monetary value coin, but it's a commemorative type thing. This is really, really quite nice. This is another postcard that I received again at that First World War I reenactment that I went to. Brandon Fischella is serving his king, country, and empire. And then there's like a little bit of, Lord Kitchener's message to the army. You did a good job, boyo. Good job. And of course, what desk or what bookshelf would be complete without our little miniature of Lord Nelson himself?
This right here is my favorite thing, ever. In the history of forever.
Standing proud and triumphant and very, very tiny over the rest of the lads. Again, sort of a figure to stare you down and say, get back to work. I bought this at the Toy Soldier Shop in London during my first ever trip to the UK, in fact. I spent a pretty exorbitant amount on this little fella, but he's a really well-designed miniature. He's very well painted, as you can see, very well detailed and everything, so I like him. His one arm missing there. Bit of a hero of mine, of course. Who is he not a hero to in the end? And then, of course, we have Lord Wellington himself. Much like the Kitchener bust on the other side, it's the same company. Funnily enough, though, while I bought Kitchener at the Wellington Arch, I bought Wellington here at the National Army Museum in London. Again, just sort of like a nice little souvenir to remember the time. That was, I think, on my last trip to the UK for the centenary of the First World War. On the bottom, it reads as, "The business of war and indeed life is guessing what is on the other side of the hill," which is another wonderful, very inspirational kind of quote. Again, a nice fellow to just sort of be staring you down and reminding you that, I beat Napoleon at Waterloo. What have you done with your life? Get back to work. Back to clacking away on your computer. Yes, sir, I apologize, my lord. I should probably cover the top as well. The little cannon there. That is a Napoleon cannon from the American Civil War. Just a little model that I bought at like one of the first ever reenactments I went to in Ohio, not as a participant, just as a spectator. Like, whoa, they have cool like uniforms and all that. Just, as a spectator watching. And I wanted to buy a little something, so I bought a cannon, and hey, now it actually proves quite useful. It's part of the YouTube set. 54th headgear. I don't need to explain the cocked hat there because I already have an entire video talking about cocked hats, including why I wear it the way I do. If you've not seen that, then go watch it. This as well is my officer's style forage cap, because of course I am now a lieutenant within His Majesty's 54th, or well, a junior officer. I can be an ensign, lieutenant, or captain, depending on what the situation demands. But generally speaking, I will be a lieutenant in the 54th. The full coat and uniform is on the way. It's being made. So not too much longer, and you'll be able to see me in all that. That'll be funsies.
Hello viewers, you're probably all wondering who in the world I am. Well, long story short, my name is Jaren, I'm one of Brandon's new editors, and I am awesome in ways you didn't even think were possible. As for the why I'm here, well, you see, Brandon became so distracted filming the contents of a bookshelf that he actually forgot to give you his Patreon lecture. I know it's tired by now, and probably most of you don't care, but he did insist that a few points be raised, so here I am. Point number 1. Did you know that if just 0.5% of all of you watching were to donate $1 on Patreon, Brandon would be financially set? I don't know what cardboard box he's living out of, but apparently the rent is quite good. Point number 2. Such an act of generosity would not go unrewarded. Donors will have exclusive access to all kinds of perks, such as Patreon-only live streams and early access to videos, so that you too can watch bookshelf safaris sooner than the rest of the rabble. Anyway, if any of that sounded mildly interesting, you can pop over to patreon.com/BrandonF and give him a donation. He also has a website at brandonf.org, which you can also check out if you're so inclined. All that now having been said, I now return you to the harrowing high-stakes drama of a Shelfie tour. It's what the people wanted, I guess.
This as well, here we have a Victorian-style smoking cap that was made by a friend of mine by the name of course, His Excellency Lord Rivers. He has a fantastic YouTube channel, doesn't post too regularly there, but he also has an Instagram page that he's much more active on. I'll be sure to link all of his stuff down below, because he makes just a lot of really great stuff. He gave this to me as a gift, like, hey, I appreciate your videos. Here, have a hat. I'm like, well, all right, thank you. Yeah, much appreciated, an awful lot of fun. But yeah, it's a good style of hat. All right, I believe that is the first shelf. Ooh, let's move on down to the second shelf, and thank goodness, because my arms are starting to kill me holding this camera up like that. My goodness me. Oh, of course, the Swagger Cane, the Royal Corps of Engineers. Actually, I'm not going to hold that up right now, or no, I can hold it up a little bit. I think it'll reflect a little bit, but I can always censor things if need be. Our apartment's a bit of a mess right now because I'm packing everything up, but Swagger Cane, Swagger Stick of the Royal Signal Corps. You know, I bought this way back in the day just as like a little nicety because I thought it'd be kind of neat to have something like this. And I used them very early on in the videos, basically as like a way to help with anxiety of recording the videos. It may not come across this way, I know. A lot of people are surprised to hear this, but I get like incredibly nervous on camera, especially when I'm looking into the camera. And this was basically a good way, like if I'm holding something, I'm able to gesture with something, it helps me to, I don't know, just a little something to help calm the nerves, I guess. I don't know. It felt appropriate to be carrying something in those videos, and it helped me to, you know, get through without maybe feeling so stock still as I might otherwise have done. In any case, moving ever onwards, this is also the shelf where I keep all my antique books. So you can see here, Great Events of the Great War. I have 3 volumes of it. That is a book that was published during the course of the First World War, or maybe like very, very shortly after, but the books are older than 1919 at least. Same thing with Diplomacy of the Great War. I'm pretty sure that is a book that was published 1918, something like that. It's around there, roughly. Nelson, just more generic history books and such. I've not read really any of these, but they're nice to have on the shelf. We have Rudyard Kipling, of course. One must have their Kipling. As far as items are concerned, all of these poppies, you'll note that there are many different kinds of poppies on my shelf. Basically, whenever I go to the UK during, Remembrance Sunday, I'll find the nearest person who's collecting donations for them. I'll be like, hey, here's 20 pounds, give me one of everything you have, including, like, I'm pretty sure this is intended for women, but it looks really nice. It's a great big old poppy, and I sort of like more papery-esque material. I like it. It's very nice. I never throw away a poppy. I always save them. I put them, I keep them somewhere. It never really felt right to throw them away, although I do understand that the Royal British Legion recycles them, I'm pretty sure. But I've never thrown away a poppy. I like being able to collect them, I suppose. And then this one here on the far left, that is actually a Canadian poppy that was sent in by a viewer and an acquaintance of mine. He thought all these English poppies, we need to get the Canadians represented as well, and I could not agree more. It's a lovely addition to the collection. Now I just need to make sure I can get a Scottish poppy at some point as well. Scrolling further down, looking further down, here we have a sort of like a tie clip with the, again, the Dorset Regiment sort of symbol there, the cap badge. This poppy is a Royal British Legion commemorative poppy of the Battle of Wipers, the Battle of Ypres. That sort of brassy bit right there, the yellow part, was actually made, I believe it is out of a fired shell casing or a firing pin, a brass firing pin or something like that from the Battle of Wipers. And as well, the enamel paint there, the red in the center, and I believe the green as well, but at least the red in the center. The paint that was used to paint that, oh my goodness, an awful lot of repetition, but I'm trying to do this all in one take. We're making it work. The red enamel paint there was actually mixed in a little bit with soil from the battlefield as well. So I have a little bit of Ypres with me on my desk here. And actually on the other side, this one, this pin was the first one that they made in that style. Same exact thing, but this one's from the Battle of the Somme. Otherwise, the mug, a little piece of merchandise there. You can buy one yourself if you're so inclined, ha ha ha. The flag there, some people may have been wondering, like, okay, Brandon, what's with like the kids drawing on the set? This was drawn for me, I think it's like a birthday gift, something like that, however long ago, by my baby sister. And again, I just thought like, oh, you know what, that's really cool. I really like that, and I thought it might be appropriate to have as part of the set. So that's a gift from my sister. The Gorget is another piece of officers' equipment that I've been slowly acquiring for my new officer's impression. I actually have an entire video about Gorgets, so I won't comment on that here. You can just go and watch the Gorget video. This is a cap badge from the Borders Regiment. Again, the first group that I went to a World War I event with was the Borders before some guys from the 54th started doing World War I, and I did the Dorsets with them. This was the first group that I did an event with. So this cap badge belongs to them. It's a very nice looking cap badge, very, very sharp looking cap badge. As well, some of these soldiers here in the corner, you'll note they're painted a little bit of a different way than the ones up top. These were given to me by another friend of the channel, so to say, by Mr. Gaslight Studios, an acquaintance of mine, as a gift at an event that we both went to. So again, thank you to him, and I'll be sure to include his information down below as well, just as another way of saying thank you for those. As well, actually, he gave me that, but we'll get to that soon enough. All right, oof, lower down once more. And this video has been going on for like 20 minutes now. Why are you still here if you're still... Anyways, a lot more books. Sob is a good book. I used that one in a video. World War I, the African Front. Good stuff, fun stuff. Britain's Forging the Nation by Linda Colley. That's a really good book. But this right here, oh God, look at all that dust. I forgot the dust before this video, oh my. Anyways, that little thing right there, this is a piece of jade from China. And in case you're unaware, I used to be a tour guide at a local historic site, a local museum called the Crane Estate. It's like a 1920s mansion that was built by Richard Teller Crane, the owner of the Crane Company back in the day. When I was there, I was the under butler, Mr. James Forland, at your service, of course, leading guests throughout the home and whatnot. At one point, we had a family come visit the estate and take my tour. They were all from China. Most of them did not speak a word of English. The grandson, however, did, and he was actually translating for me as I went through giving the tour to this family. Thankfully, it was a private tour, so we were able to, take the time to have translations and whatnot. We were in Cornelius's bathroom. Of course, all of them have to have their own bathrooms and their own bedrooms. When all of a sudden the grandfather of the family, the older gentleman, reached into his pocket and pulled something out. He passed it off to the grandson, whispered something again in Chinese in his ear, and the grandson gave me this. He's like, "Oh, this is a piece of jade from China. He wants you to have it because he's enjoying the tour." I'm like, "Oh, well, thank you so much." I don't know if you can tell the detail there because again the focus is kind of terrible, but it's a little dragon. Oh, there it goes. Now you can see it. But yeah, it's a little piece of jade from China. It's like, that is the coolest tip I've ever received. Yeah. Otherwise, a shilling there.
Yes, kind of like how I'm shilling away for your Patreon, Brandy boy. Look, viewers, if we're really going to talk for half an hour about a bookshelf, I might as well mention something that you can add to your own. Allow me to present to you my very own graphic novel, Long Live the Emperor. It's a military action-adventure story based in a fantasy world of my own creation that follows the daring cat-and-mouse game between Emperor Shaozil and Lord Harzan as they attempt to outsmart one another on the battlefield. The entire book was written and illustrated by yours truly, and is only the beginning of a much larger story that I've been working on for 7 years. That's right, I have been working on this since I was 14. If you want to be the first to join in this new adventure, then you can find a link to my website, Summertime Studios, in the description, where you can purchase yourself an ebook copy, as well as learn more about me, my studio, our future plans, and exactly why it is I wear this mask if you're curious. Printed copies aren't available at the moment, but I'm hoping to gain enough capital from ebooks to make prints a reality. Thank you so much for your time and attention, wonderful viewers, and I do hope that you enjoy my book. And now, back to the show.
You can see this shilling was given to me again by the 23rd Royal Welsh Fusiliers in America. Oh my god, the dust! I'm so sorry! As sort of like a, hey, you know, you've joined the British Army, here's your shilling, here's your enlistment bounty, and we had a little, like, oath of allegiance and all that kind of thing. It was a fun little ceremony. Again, a great way to introduce someone to the hobby. The 54th doesn't currently do anything like this, but something tells me that we should take this up, I think. It'd be really cool to be able to do something like this. It's a reproduction shilling, you know, it's no real value there or anything, but again, it's just sort of like a nice little introduction to the hobby. Those are just some musket balls. No real reason for them to be there. I had them, so may as well throw them somewhere. Our Germanic-looking fellow here, indeed. I'm not sure if he's supposed to be World War I or World War II, probably World War II. German soldier, nice little statue here. When I was last at the Stalingrad reenactment in Youngstown, Ohio, basically after the reenactment, I was looking around at one of the sutler shop type things, sort of, you know, chatting with the guy. I'd seen him at a few events before. You know, we got to know each other. And I look at this little statue. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. Look at this guy, huh? Neat. The guy's like, oh, hey, if you like him, just go ahead and take him. Like, well, no, I can't do that from you, but yeah, he insisted. He said, for you, my friend, free. And he gave me a little statue. People give me a lot of things. It's kind of weird. It's rather surreal that people like know me from YouTube. It doesn't really feel like that should be the case ever. But I'm not important, I promise. I'm really not important. I just make videos on the internet. But yeah, but he gave me the little statue. It's like, that was really cool. Thank you. I like this guy. He's very Aryan, shall we say, in his features, but also looks like he's seen some stuff that he really wishes that he didn't see.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
It's a really cool piece. It's a nice set piece. Again, more Dorset material there, given from the Keep Museum. Together we prevail! COVID-19, you may be able to see there, 2020. This was given to me by Mr. Krieger. Indeed, you can see a letter that he sent me there from it. From the Krieger Cast is actually a podcast that I appeared on a goodly while back. I had a lot of fun with it too. Again, that's something I'll link in the description down below if you'd like to see me on that podcast. We just sort of talked about reenactments and history and all that kind of fun stuff. And then, of course, the very last shelf. I mean, well, there's another shelf behind it, but there's nothing really there to talk about. Spent casings, 303 ammunition. These are all historic casings, like from World War II. So I thought, may as well keep them around. They're like, what's this one? Is this one's from 1942. I don't know if you'll be able to see it there. Nope, because it's going to refuse to focus as usual. But this round is from 1942, so I'm like, oh, I don't want to throw it away, so may as well just keep them. Again, nice sort of little, like, set piece. That little guy, I think, is like a German radio operator. It's a miniature of a German radio operator, again, World War II. Literally, I used to be much more of a war gamer. I bought, like, a Warhammer 40k set, and this was, like, included in it, or maybe it was a Napoleonic cavalry set. More merchandise. Another piece of material that was given to me by the 23rd Royal Welsh Fusiliers in America. Sort of like a commemorative plate type thing. Again, a very nice piece there. The name of the regiment written on top, the 3 feathers of the Prince of Wales in the center. Again, not a practical item, doesn't serve a purpose, but it's nice to, hang up or put on a shelf to remember, a lot of good memories, a lot of good times with those guys. And then here's a postcard, again, much like the World War I postcard we saw above. This is obviously a Soviet-style postcard that was given to me the last time I was, again, at the Stalingrad reenactment in Youngstown, Ohio. A little bit of Russian, propaganda, hands off our industry, and all that stuff there. And then on the back, again, we have like a little message written in English so I can understand it, which I appreciate, but saying, oh, you know, hopefully the war will be over by Christmas. Probably not. That's what they're saying at the plant. Anyways, we hope you're not dead. Bye. And it's just a nice little, you know, way to... it's just like a nice little thing to do at reenactments, I think. Make it a little bit more personal, sort of remind you that, you know, it isn't just like a fun, you know, playtime, but it's reflecting a genuine historical reality that, you know, people's suffering and all that jazz. Also, like, the historic stamps are really cool on there as well. As well, at that same reenactment, when I went to, when at one point we captured a couple of German prisoners, which you can actually see in the video that I made from that, one of them, while none of the other guys were looking, sort of like slipped into his pocket and handed me this. This, I'm pretty sure, is like German-made propaganda trying to convince Red Army soldiers that they should join the Germans. Be like, hey, like, look, your people don't care about you, like, you surrendered, but we'll give you cigarettes and food and treat you well. Look at how happy these people are that they surrendered and joined the Nazis instead of the Soviets. And, like, look, they're, you know, they're shouting how happy they are. It's like, I don't know. I can't translate any of this, but if you know what it says, I would love it if you're able to tell me. And then I think on the other side it has one piece in, yep, it has on the very top there, again, sort of like an announcement of some kind. And then on the bottom it has half of it in German, half of it in Russian. So presumably, like, if you surrender, you can take this and be like, hey, I got this, please don't shoot me as a prisoner of war. And then they'll probably just shoot you anyways because welcome to the Eastern Front. But that, my friends, that is the bookshelf. The poster, the dragon hunting poster, like St. George of old, the 54th and 10th Regiments of Foot slay the dreaded great dragon of the North. I have a video that explains the story behind this one. I'll link that down below if you're so inclined. And hey, if you want to buy this poster, I don't know why I'm twisting like that. If you want to buy the poster, then as well, of course, I will include the link below for that as well. This, of course, your country's armed forces community needs you. A lot of people have wondered what this actually said, so I'll just sort of zoom in so you can read the language of it all. This is just a nice poster from the Royal British Legion about what they do, why they're important. I received this poster as sort of like a care package type thing after I went to a very nice performance of a play called The Wipers' Times. This was a special performance where all the proceeds went to the Royal British Legion. It was actually on the eve of the centenary. The colors of His Majesty's 54th Regiment of Foot. This was, again, made for me by a friend of the channel, Mr. Gaslight Studios, same fellow who did those soldiers over there. He painted this all. Like, it's like a little bit of cloth that he actually painted the full set of regimental colors on. You can see the LIV there for the 54. And I thought it was, you know, it's another perfect item to have in the background. So I've had that for a while now. Fun piece. And then as well, of course, just in front of part of it there, I also keep this wonderful picture here. This is obviously a regiment of British Foot Guards on parade, presumably like the trooping of the color, really any sort of ceremony. It's rather ambiguous in that way. It's also ambiguous as to which regiment it is, which I think is pretty cool. You know, it could be any of them. I like to think of these men as soldiers of the Coldstream Guards because I actually received this item at a raffle that was being hosted by the I believe it was the Leicester branch of the Coldstream Guards Association. Back when I lived in the UK, and hopefully again sometime in the near-ish future, I used to reenact the Napoleonic era with the Coldstream Guards 1815. They're a fantastic reenactment organization. I cannot speak highly of them enough, and their generosity, their hospitality, and all that sort of fun stuff. They're a fantastic group, and I look forward to joining them again for more events in future, hopefully. But the Coldstream Guard 1815 every year would support the local branch of the Coldstream Guard Association, providing an honor guard for their annual dinner. And then, as a thank you for providing the honor guard, normally we're treated to dinner by the regiment, and then they also have like a little raffle for the benefit of the regiment. I bought a couple of tickets, and I actually won something. I won this beautiful little picture here. Obviously, it's not like some massively valuable piece. I didn't win a lottery or anything, but it has a lot of really great memories for me, and so it's a nice way to remember my time with the regiment and remember what we're fighting for and all that jazz. the various regimental associations in the UK are fantastic organizations. I like them a lot. So yes, that is that. And I believe, yes indeed, I believe, my friends, that that is everything. That would be the full story of everything on my shelf and the regular backdrop. That has been the Shelfie in its full magnificent glory. Why are you still here? Why are you still watching this video? This is probably among the most boring videos I've ever made. Why are you so interested in the things that are behind me on my shelf? Well, in any case, if you have stuck around to this point, I do hope that you enjoyed. It actually was kind of fun being able to record this. I've not done such a non-scripted video in an awful long time. So of course I as well apologize for all of my stuttering and stammering and waffling and all the rest. But all the same, thank you also very much for watching. Of course, most particularly to my ever-beneficent supporting classes on patreon.com. For it is, as ever, by virtue of their generosity and financial support that I'm able to carry on making videos. Not usually like this one, but carry on making videos. Until the next time, my dear viewer, I am and I shall remain. No, indeed, I should say, no matter where I am and I shall remain your most humble and obedient of servants.